Yes, Russell Wilson apparently has beaten his injury, and apparently Russell Wilson is in line to potentially get the start for the Steelers.
Which means apparently Justin Fields has not been an overwhelming performer to hold the position.
So
Damn.
He got reps with the first team, and that was kind of leaked or spilled by one of the offensive linemen there who kind of mentioned that in passing, talking with the media. And then Mike Tomlin spoke with the media yesterday and explained
What do you have to say?
The thought process behind potentially Russell
Jonas?
getting the start.
Justin has been really good, and we've been really good at times, but not to be confused with great. Man, this is a competitive league, man. We're trying to position ourselves to be that team. And we got a player with talent who hadn't had an opportunity to play, so we're going to potentially explore those things. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what Justin has done or has not done. Justin has been an asset to us, man. Last week, for example, man, his ability to utilize his legs by design and by ad lib was a significant component of that game. He rushed for 50-plus yards and 2 touchdowns in game. And so we're appreciative of that. We're appreciative of how he's taking care of the ball. But we're just looking at all the people at our disposal the same way that we do at any position. That's what you do in this thing. You better have your foot on the gas at all times. You better look to divide the labor up in the most appropriate way based on who's available to you and healthy. And that's just simply what we're going to do.
Translation, Justin Fields, you're just not good enough for us to do what we want to do.
Damn.
And we got to see if we could do it with Russ.
Damn.
To your point, I mean, I think the last 3 weeks is where it's been a bit more noticeable. And, they're 1-2 in that span after they got off to that 3-0 start. Because if they're undefeated right now, like, are we having this conversation? Probably not.
Probably not. I think it would depend on how they won. But I think it's almost impossible to do anything if they're undefeated.
Right. And that's where I kind of say, the record matters. And, the last 3 weeks, I mean, they won this past week versus Las Vegas, but they're having a hard time throwing the football.
That's the point. That's
the reality of it.
That's what it is.
He hasn't been able to give them a lift in the passing game. And even though Mike Tomlin points out the rushing, they're a top 10 rushing team based on yards, but not per yards per attempt. And the reason why I bring that up is because typically with Justin Fields' ability to run, you'd think that defenses would play him more in a manner that allows the running back game to kind of open up, right? Like we always talk about, you equate in the box count in the run game, it's a numbers game. You have to account for the quarterback, especially one like Justin Fields, if he can run like that. And even that hasn't really given them too much of an uptick, with the exception of this past week versus the Raiders. They haven't been able to. They were consistently running the football the first couple weeks, and then since then it's kind of been a bit of a lull. And there's also been some turnovers. So maybe Mike Tomlin's thinking, hey, we're 4-2, we're in a good position. Let's go see what Russell Wilson has the next 2 weeks. If he does start, and maybe he plays well, gives us a lift in the passing game, we go into the bye week, but you get 2 weeks to prepare for Washington, and we're on the second half of our season, and we might be 6-2, and we might be able to kind of make a run from there with someone who we feel like gives us more, of a two-dimensional offense. So I guess I can understand the logic to it, but at the same time, I feel for Justin Fields. Like, for a player who, to me, has been developing, he's on a new team and a new offense again. And before he gets to see like those 10, 12 games to see what does he look like on the backside of the first 6, maybe the passing game does improve. Like maybe you do start to see more consistency there. Or maybe they just feel like he is what he is at this point. But that's the part that kills me at this time.
And I think that's where, to me, I think it's damning to Justin Fields is what you just said, is that maybe they feel like this is all we're going to get. Like, this is it. In terms of what and like I look at Mike Tomlin as he's probably, if you're going to say a handful of coaches that you would say are going to be pro player and they're going to give a guy the fair benefit of the doubt in the moment that they have, it would be a Mike Tomlin type of coach. And so the fact that he is saying, look, he's been good, he just hasn't been great. And if there's the possibility that we could see great from Russell Wilson, then that's what we want to do, which ultimately led me to the next thought is, okay, if he's been good, then are you saying that you have to go with Russ because you can't get any further with his good to call plays, to figure out ways to best utilize him to get to great? You know, or are you saying that we believe that there is more to what we're doing? We believe that our offense can be good to great, and I'm willing to sit Justin Fields down and activate Russell Wilson to see if that is true. To me, to pull Justin Fields out at this point to see what Russ can do means that it's run its course with Mike Tomlin in terms of his belief in how much better Justin Fields can be for this team.
I think the Dallas game was kind of an eye-opener because it wasn't like you had Micah Parsons. The Cowboys were banged up, and Justin Fields just wasn't good. And that
they had multiple main defenders out.
And
multiple.
It felt like there was all these opportunities for him to seal the deal and win the job, and he just couldn't quite do it. And, you know, when Tomlin's talking about his legs and, you know, he gave us a chance and et cetera, it's like, okay, but, you know, if they're looking to, as he says, go places, they got to get more from the position, and so he's going to go this direction. Or, I mean, I thought about this too, but I don't know that the contract is significant enough to where they would need to move on. But, you know, yeah, the trade deadline's coming up. Are they trying to show other teams potentially in the market for a quarterback, hey, here's our guy? But both guys are making so little that, you know, what's the damage in keeping them both on the roster? But, you know, at least we're going to get to see Russ cook a little bit.
I think the other thing, if you're looking at the entirety of the season, if you're Mike Tomlin, which kudos to him, in the sense of if you feel like something's not quite right, you want to fix it now, despite the fact that they won this past week. And I think most people might say, hey, Justin Fields has played good enough, obviously, to get you to a 4-2 record. So why change it? But he's searching for better than that. You know, he's searching for more than that. And if you look at the rest of their schedule, they got to play at Washington after the bye. Then you're playing Baltimore. Then you've got, Cleveland. Don't worry about them. At Cincinnati. And, you know, you got Baltimore again. You got Kansas City at Cincy again. And if Cincy starts to turn this on, with the other quarterbacks that you're facing, you're going to have to find a quarterback who's going to be able to throw the football effectively. You're going to have to be able to find someone who can put up points, put up, you know, production through the air. Otherwise, you're going to be hamstrung to a team that's just kind of this running team that plays great defense and has to win in these low-scoring games, which, to your point, Jonas, about the Dallas game, that was kind of more of a low-scoring game. They couldn't quite pull it out. So if you can't win that style of play, you're probably looking at the back half of your schedule from week 10 on, if you're Mike Tomlin, going, yeah, this is all right for now, but I don't think we stand much of a chance the rest of the season if we can't get more production out of the passing game, utilize more of the playmakers we have on the outside. So kudos to him for having, you know, the ability to just, I don't know, not worry about if there's a controversy or what the media might say, or if people are frustrated by it, and say, we can be better. Like we're 4-2, but we can even be better than this. You know, imagine that. Let's try something else. Let's do something. There's not a lot of head coaches that would make that decision. They'd probably wait until they went through like a losing streak to then pull the plug on it.